When you mess around with your man, I'm sitting all alone by the
Welcome everyone, this is the Musician Experience, and we are here with our very own Isaiah Sharkey.
What's up, man?
Fresh from the Czech Republic.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, how have you been? Like, how have you been in the season? COVID's been going on.
Oh man, it's been a challenge for everybody,
Yeah.
but you know we slowly moving forward and coming out of the clear. So we here. So
No, that's good. Back on the road now that we
back
see.
on the road, yeah.
Yeah. So, how long have you still got on the road essentially now?
Well, been on the road pretty much off and on since last year.
Okay.
Just finished a tour with John Mayer in May, and then went right off of there and started doing our own dates with my band. So,
Okay,
yeah.
with your band. Who's in your band today then?
It's all the guys from Chicago, all my friends. We have Garrett Body on bass,
Yeah.
Tim Trippett on keys, and Eric Johnson on drums, and our guy Paul Norman on the sound. So it's cool.
Fantastic. So we've actually got a few questions that a few of our fans have listed in, so we're gonna go through them real quick. Question 1: what is your earliest introduction to music, and how did you become a guitar player?
Okay. Well, my earliest memory was having a guitar in my hand. So that's the first thing I remember. And it was a toy guitar my mom and dad bought me when I was like 2 or 3 years old.
Right.
And so I used to have that guitar in my hand, or sometimes a broom, and watch this video of my dad and his brothers, because they had a group in the 60s, 70s, and 80s called The Fugitives. Yeah. And so they had this VHS, for people who know what VHS is. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta explain it.
Yeah, it's tape. It's basically just a tape. But I was watching that when I was a kid. I think they recorded in 1983 or something like that. And I would watch my dad playing drums. He was like a multi-instrumentist, like Prince or whatever. And then my uncles on bass and guitar, and my aunts singing background doing percussion. And so I gravitated towards my uncle Eugene Sharkey. He was playing a guitar, this beautiful red 335 Gibson. And I was like, wow, I want to do that. And I knew from there that's what I wanted to do. So it's like, it was never a question like, you want to be a fireman? You want to be this? You want to do this? I had other interests, but the main thing was guitar. So I just knew.
How did you sustain that interest? Was it like church, or did your parents put you through music school? What was it?
Well, I grew up in church. My dad was also later on a minister.
Oh, wow.
And he was the minister of music at the church. So he played the organ.
Yeah.
And my brothers would play drums and keys. And so I would come and play bass and play guitar. And so that kind of just nurtured me. And my dad taught us, and, we were on the tutelage of him. And he was teaching us about music theory and everything, listening to a lot of different records, because we had a crazy record collection growing up. So
I heard a story that your granddad owned a record store.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, and then you, I think when he passed on the records
To my dad.
to your dad.
Yeah.
So, out of those records, what would you say was the one that stood out to you the most?
That's hard to say, man,
Really?
because it was everything from jazz, from West Montgomery to like to Beatles to Zeppelin to Pink Floyd to Steely Dan to Tribe Called Quest. So it was like everything. So it was. I just remember all these different records. I think probably some of the records that stood out to me was all like the Stevie Wonder's early 70s records. So like Talking Book and Music of My Mind, Feelings First Finale, and all that stuff, Intervisions, and then Johnny Guitar Watson, all of it. All of it.
So, I guess that was your earliest memories of music, and then you developed your own sound now, but it seems that even that sound is very much soulful, very funk, very melodic. It's got a lot of messages and meanings to it, and even from the 70s and 80s, there was a lot going on back then. Now, what would you say in this day and age is your biggest inspiration now for music from that?
Man, just life experiences. Everything that we deal with from day to day, from this whole thing with the pandemic to dealings with people that family members, friends, the good and the bad. Everything is an influence to me and impacts me in a way where it helps me to create and express myself. So I look at everything, every moment.
I promise we're not going to get so deep.
It's all good. It's all
Right
good,
now.
man.
I got another question here asking your most memorable experience on the road.
Oh man. I think it was the first gig I did back in 2012 with D'Angelo. His first show back, and probably it was like 10-year hiatus.
I was waiting for his name to be mentioned.
Yeah, it was in Stockholm, Sweden. We had did a year. It was actually my first European run back in 2012, and just getting on stage and hitting, playing Chicken Grease and all that stuff. It was like, wow, I'm here with D'Angelo. One of my dream gigs. So
I was gonna say, tell us a bit more, because I've done my research about your running with D'Angelo, but tell us that story of how you first met him. And the progression from there.
Well, I was, before meeting D'Angelo, I was touring with the Isley Brothers before that. And prior to that, I was, and during that time, I was also doing a lot of gospel records.
Right.
With Donald Lawrence and, all these different artists. And so I was doing a live session in Richmond, Virginia, and they were actually doing a video, live performance video. And so we had to dress up, and I was like, oh crap, man, I ain't got a belt. So I had to go to like a Walmart in the States and get a belt. And right next to the Walmart was like this mom and pop music store. So being a musician, you get sidetracked. You're like, hey, see what they got in here.
Why not?
So me and some of the guys went in, and we started messing around with the instruments. And in the back, they had a section where they was giving guitar lessons. Mm-hmm. So this guy walks out. He's a heavy set guy, and I'm the jokester, so I'm like, hey man, this guy looks like a D'Angelo lookalike or something, And I had no idea that D'Angelo was from Richmond, and so I looked again. I was like, wait, whoa. So I went and said, excuse me, I mean to bother. Are you D'Angelo? Like, yeah. And so from there, he started talking. I told him I knew Spanky Alford, and he was a mentor of mine, and we started talking. He felt like he heard me play, and he was like, man, I feel it's the same kind of energy and spirit and the style and everything, and so he asked me to be his guitar player.
Damn.
Out of nowhere. And so maybe like 8 months to a year later, I started recording Black Messiah, and I was about 19 years old.
Wow.
When we started, 19 or 20.
I mean, for some people that might be early on, but I feel like a lot of great musicians start around that age also. So there's a definite element of some supernatural connection there, or
oh man, it was definitely
something.
divine, man. That whole happening, it was like divine, So it was. I never thought. Some stuff like that, you just never know when it's gonna happen or if it's gonna happen. You just kind of focusing on your craft and doing what you love to do. When you focus on that, stuff comes.
No, that's amazing. I would ask, so you've obviously been playing for the Isley Brothers, D'Angelo. When would you say that you decided that you wanted to pursue your own independent career as a solo, well, not a solo artist, but you play with a band, but your own stuff?
Yeah. Well, I had dipped and dabbed in that prior to playing with a lot of different artists.
Yeah.
When I was 14, I had a band with my family called Isaiah Sharkey and the Family Tree. And it's my brothers and my dad, and we were doing more jazz standards and some smooth jazz stuff. And I was pretty much like the front man for that. So my dad always pushed me to do it, and but I wasn't singing at the time. I was just playing guitar. I was real kind of nervous and shy about that because all my brothers and sisters are fantastic singers. So I was like, I'll let them have that. I'll play the guitar. But I think, once you're on the road with people and you get all these different experiences, different genres and stuff like that, you look at them and you say, man, I'm helping them say what they have to say, and, hey, I want to say something. I got something to say too. So you just kind of, it just comes to you. So something I always kind of wanted to do, but putting that first, that foot forward and doing it is the thing. It's a big leap of faith.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I would ask, from when you've obviously been on the road with many musicians and then you start developing your own craft as a solo musician yourself, how do you think you fit in? What would you say your unique selling point is as a musician? A lot of people come with messages, and a lot of people might just come with vibes. But what is your thing to bring to our world now?
Man,
I promise I didn't want to get deep, but
well, I'll say a level of honesty.
okay,
Just a level of honesty. You know, I don't profess to be the best guitar player in the world or musician in the world, but I think that everybody has their own thing that they can contribute. That's the whole point of it, the individuality, and just being able to study your craft enough to be able to be honest and expressive enough and equipped enough to express.
Yeah.
I think that's what anybody should bring to the table. But I feel that the sensitivity for the music and the honesty. I come with honesty, you know, and sensibility to the music, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And you were talking about your contribution being honest. In this day and age, we have social media giving everyone everything they need to. How important would you say being on social media, being that open, is? Because a lot of guys still want to remain underground, you know, in the jazz clubs, which is great, but we don't get to see that side. Yeah. How important would you say that is?
I think it should be a healthy balance of both.
Right.
I still believe that there's something cool about, you know, the mystique or the mysticism of certain artists. But I also think too, it's a great tool to market. It's a great tool to, to show, you know, or showcase your gift and your talent, and also shows and, you know, all types of stuff just off a clip.
Yeah.
You know, just off a couple clips. And so that was unheard of back in the day. And even I'm 32. So I'm like, still for me, it's like, wow, I wish I could have did that, you know, but I was like 19 or something. But it's a great tool to do that. I think it's just has to have a healthy balance. You know, I'm not too much of it. It's a nice amount, you know.
No, that's good. That's some good advice. I think some more advice. Someone asks, how can a guitarist improve their sound and find their own voice?
Listen to as much music as possible. Don't. My father used to tell me, he said, don't be a jazz guitar player. And I said, huh? Because I love jazz. Yeah. He said, don't be a gospel guitar player. I'm like, what? I like gospel. He said, don't be a blues guitar player. Be a guitarist. Be a musician. This guitar is an instrument. You know, it's a tool to express yourself. And so the more words you know in a language, and in whatever languages you speak, the more you're able to articulate and explain yourself and express yourself. And so it's the same thing with music. You learn more words. You learn more vocabulary in the music. You learn more styles. The more you'll be able to be better equipped to express yourself. And so I always say, you know, learn as much as possible, and then find out what you gravitate towards and see that common denominator, and that's your sound.
Okay. So kind of 2 in 1. How did you discover yours? I mean, you have been influenced by music all your life, but how were you able to encapsulate everything that you've taken and move forward in that direction? And what is the instrument of choice for you?
Okay.
So I'm talking down to the brands, to the strings.
Okay. Okay. Well, actually, so it took a while for me to find out my sound as far as the gear is concerned, because it's an ongoing thing. Like, it's so much gear out there. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And but I found these days I'm really liking G&L guitars a whole lot. There's a couple other companies that I like. Of course, I like all the vintage Gibsons and Fenders and stuff like that. And there's some guitars by PRS that I like. But lately I've been gravitating towards G&Ls. And very clean amps, you know, like Fender Twins or, you know, DeVille's, Hot Rod DeVille's. But as far as like sound, as far as like my style and tone, just listening to, it's kind of a mixture between everything I love. I love country music. I love blues. I love jazz. I love the R&B. I love the funk. I love the fusion. I love the rock. So it's all of these different parts that I gravitate towards that mix, you know. It's certain things about rock that I'm like, I love, and then there's some things that hasn't necessarily caught me at the moment.
Right. That makes
But the
sense.
stuff that I'm into right now, that's what's causes me to have my sound. So
Oh, that makes sense. Makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I'm gonna ask. So, you've been doing this for a while, pretty much all your life.
Yeah.
Now, and you've grown up on a lot of, I don't want to say old, nice music, great music. In this new age now, who would you say are some artists that are really catching your attention? Who are some musicians that are really catching your attention?
Well, I love Anderson .Paak. Anderson .Paak is like
He's been
amazing.
around for,
I like him.
yeah, he's
I like
great.
him a lot. As far as musicians, there's a guy. His name is Sam Mitchum. He's from Chicago.
Right.
A lot of people probably don't know about him, but he's really, really, really dope. He's just taking all of the classic stuff and he's bringing it to another level. Rob Geringer, who plays with Kendrick Lamar, he's a guitarist. He's blazing. Man, Justice West, guitarist, really, really, really
Yeah.
great. Kamasi Washington, I
Ooh.
like Kamasi. He's absolutely incredible.
He's in the UK later on this year as well.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yes. So
You looking to come and join him?
if he asks me, I haven't got that honor and privilege yet. But I definitely know him, and we're cool, So, but hopefully one day we can get together. Man, there's quite a few artists,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Hiatus Coyote with Napalm singing.
He is putting you on to a lot of musicians right now, guys. Take note.
I like her.
Ooh.
I like her.
Yeah.
Yes, it's some people I like out there.
So you would say that the future's promising then?
Yeah. I think people who are more, I guess, traditional shouldn't put anything in a box because they, it's just like when you had Louis Armstrong and then you turn around and you have Dizzy Gillespie and then you
Yeah.
turn around and you have Miles Davis.
Yeah.
Those three people were like, they all changed the music and they weren't put in a box. They didn't allow themselves to be
Yeah.
like, they respected what was before them.
Yeah.
And then they used the tools that they had today. Like there's nothing wrong with auto tunes as long as it's done in the right way. There's nothing wrong with it. Learn how to sing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Learn
You
how
can talk
do
to
this.
T-Pain about that.
Right? Hey, I'm not knocking it. It's like if it works and people are being affected by it, I dig it. You know what I'm saying? So I respect because it's all art.
Yeah.
Some people don't like trap music. I like trap music too. So it's like I respect it because there's a amount of people that are into it. you
Yeah.
know, and it's an art to that.
So, just wrapping it up, just want to get a few words from yourself. Isaiah Sharkey, 10 years ago, what would you tell him?
Have balance in all things, musically, life, everything. And don't limit yourself and stay open minded. Just stay open minded. I would tell myself that. Everybody else that's up and coming now is just stay open minded and stay true and have balance.
No, that's important. Great words. Great words. All right, so you got 5 more shows?
We have 4 more shows. One tonight here
Yeah.
at Jazz Cafe. Love Supreme Festival tomorrow in Sussex.
Yeah.
Paris, we have New Morning, and then we have a festival in Copenhagen.
Fantastic. What does the future look like for you?
Well, I'm hoping that we can continue doing original music and playing across the world and spreading the word and spreading the love and everything. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Just be able to freely express myself.
No, that's beautiful.
That's it, man.
Are you going to expect some more music this year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working on it. We've been working on it for a while, but we making it happen.
Yeah.
Making it happen.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
You got a new single, Stay Out, so everyone go run that up.
That's right.
And that's everything from myself. It's been a
man.
pleasure.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you. for having us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.